First of all, I'm going to go to Google Earth. When I go there, I can download the program. If you haven't already done that, this is fairly simple. It's just like downloading the SketchUp program. Click the download button in the upper left-hand corner. Brings you to 3 versions of Google Earth. Click the top one for our purposes. Then you get 2 choices. One of them is a stable version and a beta version. I'd click download Google Earth. Put it on your desktop again so that you know where it is. Go ahead and double click the installer to begin the installation. And once the program installs, you should see this icon on your desktop. So double click the icon in order to open the program. And when the program comes up, the most common thing for a SketchUp user is to use SketchUp and Google Earth together to export a location from Google Earth into SketchUp, create a 3D model, and then bring that model back into Google Earth. Start by entering the address for the job site. Click Find. Google will zoom into that particular portion of the Earth. Now, since we're in a pretty rural area, the resolution of the image is not very good. You can use the navigation tools to zoom in and zoom out. Move this more to a 3-dimensional view. These are all also shorthanded on the keyboard, but I won't go into that. Basically, our job site's right here. This is Archer, Florida. What I'm going to do is zoom into that job site and place a place marker in order to export that place marker into SketchUp. Again, the resolution is very poor. I can almost see what's going on. I'm going to set a place mark. I'll name that and click OK. Let's zoom out a bit, get a little bit better resolution. Here's my place mark. These are basically the streets. I could add more place marks if I could see the site a little clearer, but I'm going to right click this, come to Save As, and save this file onto my hard drive. There are 2 ways to import the place mark into SketchUp. First, you can use the Google toolbar, View, Toolbars, Google Earth, if it's not already on your interface. Click the Google icon or the import icon, and because I have Google running in the background, it imports this blob onto the screen. Be sure to go to View, Toolbars, and Display, and again that's on your probably already showing on your interface, and click Texture. Now, since the resolution is so poor, it's much easier for me to just import the place mark alone. To do that, I go to File, Import. Make sure that I've got this selected as Google Earth KMZ, because that's the type of file. I'm sorry, KML, that's the type of file. Find it on my hard drive, click Open, and Google will automatically place that place mark at the origin of the SketchUp interface or the SketchUp environment. What I'm going to do now is import the survey and place it on that place mark. File, Import, go to the survey file, make sure, click Open, and I'm going to just drop it on by double clicking at the origin. If I use zoom windows, I can zoom in closer. I'm going to grab this corner, this is the corner of the actual survey, and drop it on that place mark. And I'm going to use the roadbed to scale this survey. I know it's 24 feet wide. Use my measuring tool, 24 feet. All of these techniques, by the way, are in our 3D construction modeling book. Now I have the survey with the corner set on the Google placemark. Now since this particular survey is not oriented towards north, I have to rotate it to orient it to north. So once I have the survey oriented to north, north being the green axis of the SketchUp environment, I can do a couple of things. One, I could proceed immediately to build the massing model or anything else on this website that I want to show up in Google, or I can import an aerial over this site that would be a little higher resolution. What I'm going to do is show you how to import that aerial. In order to do that, I have to open another version of SketchUp. In this version of SketchUp, I'm going to import the aerial again. And when I import this aerial, I have to scale it so that it's at the same scale as the survey. Drop it in. I'm going to zoom in. I pick up one of these property lines, go to the survey, get the dimension off of it. Go ahead and zoom in. Measuring tool. This is 25 feet according to the survey. Input 25 feet. Enter. Rescale. Zoom out. Grab that. Cut it. And now I'm going to paste it in the other file. When I paste that, I have to make sure it's oriented, or in other words, the corner of the property is in the exact same placemark. That's for the Google placemark. This aerial, by the way, came from a property appraiser's website for the county. So now I have the aerial, I have a scan, and it's just a matter of then building the massing model, which looks like this. When I want to export this, I make sure Google's running in the background, find the Google toolbar again, and then do an export. So back in Google Earth, we can see the model placed in reference to the actual placemark. Of course, the resolution of the context is pretty bad. In fact, except for the zoom scale where we can no longer really see the model, it's pretty unusable. Let me zoom out here. Now at this zoom scale, we can't see the model anymore because the placemark's in the way. The resolution is marginally better, but still not much use beyond an Eiffel Tower or maybe some large monument. A couple of things we can do. If I zoom in, note that I can actually put together overlays. It's fairly easy to add an overlay, but it's very tedious to get it into the correct proportion. Click Add on Google Earth and Image Overlay. When you do image overlay, then you browse to the file or the JPEG that you want to import. I've set a couple up here. One's a survey, so you can see that I have the survey set over the property, and the other is a higher resolution aerial. The survey, let me zoom in on that survey. Consider though that neither of these overlays or the model itself is anywhere near accurate. Back in SketchUp, I can turn off the scan that we imported, and I'm going to turn on the snapshot and the terrain models that were imported from Google Earth. Let's zoom out. I have the background with the same resolution as I saw on Google Earth, but only now it's in black and white. There's also a terrain model, but it's of equal quality. Neither are of much use. Let me turn them off. What I do have in SketchUp is better control. First of all, there's the massing model. With the massing model, I can have my scan. We saw how to import these scans and scale them up. I can also add my aerial. This is the public records aerial that I've also imported. These give me much better resolution. I can also add higher resolution aerials to get a broader view of what's going on around the job site. I can also add quick study models for buildings that surround the site. I can zoom back into the site and actually go into a detailed site utilization plan. Here I've added back the vegetation and vehicles to give a sense of scale for not only the building but the context of the building as well. SketchUp also gives me the ability to study the job site in shade and shadow. Again, as a visualization tool. Keep in mind these images can be exported within SketchUp. And I guess in summary, in my opinion at least, Earth is a great tool for the right setting and the right scale, but the SketchUp environment is far superior for most projects.